I'm April Levitt, and this is AP 800, Barriers to Web 2.0, Module 5 presentation. After reading the 4 articles, the takeaway that I have taken from those articles is I found it interesting that even though technology is getting integrated into instruction, the test scores are not being improved. The quality of his instruction may not be being improved because of the technology. So my question is, are teachers using it appropriately within classrooms? Barriers to these technologies in schools could be lack of vision from the administrator's perspective. Creativity and time is stifled because of standardized tests. All teachers that take standardized tests, they feel very locked down and have to be able to teach to those tests because our evaluations and schools' evaluations are so impacted on those scores. Technology budget is a huge impact and barrier upon whether schools can become technology-based. The curriculum, having to stick to that curriculum, and not enough support, whether it be tech or human infrastructure within that school to be able to support all of the technology that is wanting to be implemented. The digital divide, whether it's in schools or socioeconomic groups, there's less access to technology and the internet. And so it widens that gap for those that have the technology and are savvy versus those that do not have technology. And so that gap continues to get bigger and bigger. Our resources, however, are getting more and more available for teachers to use free, which is can be a barrier in the fact that there's so much out there. It's hard for teachers to know what to choose. The biggest takeaway is that we as teachers have to make sure that our students are prepared with 21st century skills. That will be a huge impact on their ability to continue to college and go to that workforce appropriately. Do I feel the digital divide can be resolved? I was torn on this. I was torn between yes and no. I would say yes, because first of all, the Google Fiber's goal is to have free internet to everyone. Everyone that wants internet has the ability to get it free through Google. And they are slowly laying their infrastructure. Their fiber optics are getting laid in towns and cities to be able to reach this goal. More and more public entities are offering free internet access to those that come to their entity. Schools are receiving free technology because so many companies see that the importance for students to have that. More and more teachers, particularly those new teachers just graduating, are more tech savvy and have many more ideas that they're gaining from school, and so they're going to be able to implement that within the schools themselves. There's free sites online to offer those resources. So the opposite end of that spectrum there's going to still be reluctant users. There's still going to be people that are wanting to be off the grid and not have internet access. And that affordability, the affordability of people within the house. Are they going to be able to have hardware? Are they going to be able to still purchase it? There's people that just aren't. They're not going to be able to purchase broadband to their homes. So even though they might be able to have access to it at school, that divide, because they're not going to have it at home, is still going to be a gap. What skill sets do I feel students need upon graduation? Processing skills, whether it's Microsoft or Google Docs, is an important piece to students. They have to know how to create spreadsheets in Google Docs. They have to be able to understand copyright laws. They can't copy a picture. They can't copy something and plagiarize it and call it their own. They have to understand how to email, how to correspond with people appropriately through email. It's the post office of our day. So how many students actually do that? Typing, hunting and pecking. They have to have some kind of typing skills to be able to stay up with the needs within an office. Collaboration and cultural awareness. They have to be able to collaborate with people, whether it's virtual or within a group within some company. Critical thinking, problem solving, creative thought are all 21st century skills. They're not going to be given an A, B, C, D answers like so many of these standardized tests give them. They have to be able to get a problem and think about it. Use creativity to solve a problem and think critically about it, which is something that so many students and so many kids these days, I feel, are lacking. They have to be technology literate. They have to understand the new technology, not be scared of it, and have some knowledge about how to use this technology. They have to understand ethics, responsibility, and etiquette when it comes to emailing or corresponding via video chat or collaboration of some kind. They have to understand the ethics behind everything that they do when it's online and on the internet. What impact does this have on the global economy, on my personal use? Well, I'm always connected. I have my smartphone with me. I have a tablet or an iPad. I'm always available to get my emails and respond to emails. I have a question, we Google it. The information is everywhere, not in an encyclopedia anymore at the library. My calendar is shared with everyone, whether it's my kids, whether it's my coworkers, so they see where I am and what I'm doing, so that everybody knows and there's no question. I stay connected with family, friends, sports teams through different apps that link directly to my calendar. Social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, tweeting, or other apps available for social media. Shopping, thank you Amazon. I never go to the store anymore. We Amazon and order it and it's shipped right to our door. It's a beautiful thing. Bill pay, no one writes checks anymore. It's done right through your computer, right at home. And of course the news. I don't ever watch 5 o'clock news. We have it recorded or I watch it via the internet. And of course the 3 F's for Google Fiber. It's free, fast, and fabulous. What technology training do I still need to integrate technology in my position? Well, staying up to date on new software and programs. I want to be able to relay information to all of my teachers to have up-to-date information on anything that we are using so that they can then hopefully integrate it within their classroom. Also, how to effectively integrate the technology within the curriculum. So I am quite savvy with the software itself, but then how can we use that and how can I relay information to my teachers to be able to use that within the curriculum itself? And then coding, again, I am very naive when it comes to coding. I need training on this so that I can help integrate it as well within our school and within our district. Is our school and district equipped with 21st century technology? We really are. I'm very proud of our school and all of the technology that is offered. We just became one-to-one for all students, so K through 1 has iPads, 2 through 5 Chromebooks, and 6 through 12 have MacBooks. Beyond the Apple and the tablets, there's projectors, Apple TV, BYOD. We're pretty up-to-date on software and apps that we're able to use. Our tech support is really great. They're very quick to respond. They are most always open to new ideas in software. We run it by them. They have a tech crew that look through it and make sure that it is the best option for what we are looking for to utilize within the classroom. They take it to a committee and then it is decided if it is worthy to bring to the district or within your classroom, but it is done quite quickly. They solve problems with technology within a day. They are very fast to respond to anything that is brought to their attention. They do offer training to learn devices and software. However, one thing that maybe I would give as an improvement would be not as much for implementation, at least at the elementary level. They show you how to use a device, but not necessarily how to implement it within the curriculum itself. The advantages of an innovative practices in school: well, we equip students with 21st century skills. We prepare them for the workforce, for their future, that they're going to need these skills to be competitive in the workforce. And if they have them, they will be competitive. It's engaging within the classroom. Students are much more in tune. They're much more apt to be able to stay with the teacher, as well as teach others and teach other students, and that's the best way for them to learn, as well as individualizing the learning. So there's so many applications available that you can see what students need and then assign or assigns the student themselves to these different leveled and different degrees of work that they can complete using different apps and programs on the internet. And global collaboration, the ability to be able to look on Google Earth or Skype someone, talk to someone elsewhere than just where they live, whether it be in the middle of the United States like Kansas, they can talk to someone in Australia, and what an exciting thing for them to do. Disadvantages. The disadvantages I see are the initial expense. So if you have a big district, it is very difficult to get that many devices to all of those students. I work in a small district, one high school. They became one-on-one a few years back. My own children go to a district that has many high schools, I believe 5 high schools. They're not one-to-one yet because I would imagine that initial expense is huge for that district. Updating hardware as well as software, I would imagine would be very difficult for the schools to make sure that everything that they are using is updating. That's a continual cost that has to be brought to the forefront of everyone's knowledge when it comes to integrating technology. The lack of quality training to make sure that the technology is being used properly within the classroom. Of course, reluctant teacher use could be a disadvantage. Cyberbullying, always an issue, as well as making sure that students are on task. Cheating using the internet, I would imagine, and particularly in the middle and high school. I don't have as much experience in the elementary, but I would imagine there are many ways that students can find to cheat using their devices. And technology failures, which we all have experienced. Have I experienced problems with cyberbullying? I have, as well as my school. We've had cyberbullying to teachers and students. We've had students playing games that they're not supposed to play, getting on websites, sharing Google documents and students changing those documents when they're not supposed to, as well as messaging at inappropriate times within technology. So that's that responsibility piece that that the students must learn in order to be respectful and have responsibility when it comes to using technology. And that concludes my presentation.